everybody doing? I hope that you guys are doing well. Welcome to another session with your boy, DMP Speaks. Listen, thank you so much for spending time with me on today. Listen, it's about to be a wonderful show. This is episode 2 of Better with your boy, DMP Speaks. If this is your first time, let me introduce myself. My name, of course, is DMP Speaks. I am an empowerment speaker and a self-esteem coach. I come on here every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you a different topic, but it has something to do with your self-development, your self-esteem, building up your confidence, building up yourself. So again, welcome to my podcast. This is episode 2 of Better with DMP Speaks. Listen, I want you guys to do me a quick favor. Please share this on all my social media outlets. Listen, if this is your first time, your second time, or your 100th time, I want you to feel welcomed. I want your energy. I want your feedback. I want you to talk to me because this is an interactive podcast. This is not just me giving you some nuggets. I want to hear your feedback, whether you agree to it, disagree, or you have a comment. I want this to be different than it was before. I want it to be better for you. That's why I called the show Better with DMP Speaks, because I want to see you better and I want to see you become the best version of yourself that you can be. So on tonight, I said, let's do something a little different than we usually do. I'm still going to give you some nuggets. I'm still going to have a affirmation for you, but this one is for my guys. Tonight is for the men, the man's man, right? I titled this tonight, I'm Still Strong. 4 reasons, why men should be more open about their problems or their emotions. I'll say it again. That's what we're talking about. I'm still strong, but I got some things going on in my mind. I'm still strong, but I got some emotions that I'm dealing with. I'm still strong. I'm still that man that you look at, that you confide in, that you feel that I'm great, but I have some things that I got to get off my chest. And I don't want you to look at me a certain way, because if we can be honest, if we can be transparent tonight, men, we get the end of the stick. We get the short hand of the stick when it comes to expressing ourselves. We are deemed to be strong. We are deemed to be courageous. We are deemed to be the head. And guess what? We are. That's not taken away from our sisters, but we are, and we're supposed to be, and we are the stronger vessel. And that's not demeaning my sisters. That's not demeaning my mom. That's not demeaning my wife. We're supposed to be the stronger vessel. But there are times, and this is why I titled it, I'm Still Strong. Because even if you're mentally strong, or physically strong, sometimes you could be mentally having some challenges. And men should not be looked at as a weaker person when they have those mental health emotions or they have those challenges. See, we get if we can be honest too, let's go a little bit deeper. In our Black community, for my brothers, the young men, the kings, because that's who we are. We are told not to show our emotion. We are taught every single day not to really show our emotion like we should. If we cry, it looks like we're being a punk, or we're not strong and we can't handle our own. And I'm not saying that every situation we're supposed to cry, right? Because there should be a time in a man's life that he should be able to hold his own the best way he can. But that doesn't mean, now let me make this very clear, that doesn't mean that that man can't show emotion. A lot of times in our, and being a man, but also in our Black community, when a man shows us emotion, it's very aggressive. That's what society says. That when we show our emotion, we're so aggressive. We're scary to our white counterparts, or we hit our women. We do all these negative things, but that's not true for every man. But what the truth is, a lot of men are told from even a child that they can't express themselves or show their emotions because it shows them to be weak. Young men, young boys, this is why we have a lot of young men that have a lot of built up anger because they can't let it out in the right way, because they're told, if you let this out, if you let this emotion out, if you let this tear out, you're not a man. I'm saying ain't, not the right way to say it, but you ain't no man. You're not a man. And I'm coming to bust that whole thought process, because that's not true. Because you have emotions, man, my Black brothers, I'm just keeping it real tonight. That doesn't mean that you're weak. That means actually you are strong, because it takes a lot for a man to be open about what he is dealing with. You are human. Let me make this very clear. You are human. And I want you, every man that's watching this, even our sisters, if you have a brother, a husband, a young man, I want you to share this on their page. Maybe you got a cousin that's struggling because he got so much in him, but he doesn't know how to release it, and he wants to release this emotion. He got a lot of stuff from his childhood. He got a lot of trauma, and he don't want to go to counseling right now. But maybe what we talk about tonight can help him, lead him to counseling, or lead him to that man that can help him be the best man that he can be, the best version of him that he can be. So if you're enjoying this for the first few minutes, I need you to share this with somebody. If I can get 10 of you to share this tonight, because we're going somewhere. I'm trying to keep on the time, but this is so heavy. It's just so heavy. I really want you guys to get this. Not only, guys, are you human, you have breath in your body. So that means you have emotions. This is something that was built in your human anatomy, your body, your chemical makeup, that everybody has emotions, but everybody's not going to show their emotions the same way. As a man, I'm talking about. Sisters, we love you, but I'm talking to the men tonight. I need you guys to understand, because you have a tear, or you go to therapy, or you talk about your situations, that doesn't mean that you're weak. That means that you are strong, that you are strong enough to trust somebody else to hear what you have to say, that you are strong enough to talk to somebody about some deep things that you have never talked about. There are young men that I work with right now that are on probation, have told me stuff that they have never told their mom, their dad, their grandmother, their best friend, because I allow them to talk, whether they cuss or not. I'm not worried about the profanity, because there's a root issue there that needs to be addressed. Now, what if I was that kind of counselor and I would never, ever let those young men talk? Every time they want to talk, or every time they want to get emotional, I cut them off. Well, it's like a ticking time bomb. Somebody might say something to them that might not even be really big, and they blow up. Why do you think they blow up? It's not about the behavior so much. It's a root issue. You didn't allow that young man to talk. Well, what if I did that? It's so important for our men and our young kings. But can I say this? I'm gonna get in trouble, and that's okay. We use this term a lot in our community, young kings. But a lot of times, our young kings don't even know that they're wearing a crown. They don't even believe that they're kings. A lot of them think that they're thugs or believe that they're thugs or they're demon possessed. And some of them might have some spiritual things that they're going on. But the root issue is they haven't been told that they've been loved or appreciated. They haven't been told, hey, you might have missed that pass or you didn't do so well on that test, but that doesn't mean that I love you any less. The reason why, I'm gonna give you an example. There are times that my son, he missed a couple. He likes football. He's a great football player. I believe he's going to go to the NFL, not for my benefit, but for his, because of the time and the effort and the passion that he has. But there's a couple of times he about a year or two ago, he missed the pass or he fumbled. I believe he fumbled the ball. Now, I could have took it upon myself and say, you know what? You a man, you should get up there and you should get that ball and you should do this and you should do that. Now I ain't see it. This is a whole nother side of me. When I'm at my son's football game, I'm yelling and screaming because I'm pumping him up, but I'm encouraging him. I'm not downing him. So he missed either a fumble, or he dropped the ball. He was so upset. I yelled, called his name. I said, focus. You can do it. And he looked at me. I said, listen to me, son. You can do this. You're going to be just fine. You know, the next time he was able to get an interception and he scored. Now, what if I would have took it upon myself? Again, this is an example, but it's a real example, to pull him down. He had a couple tears. He was mad. But I said, listen, it's okay. It's okay. See, we can't keep cutting down our men, our young men, from expressing their emotions. I mentioned the phrase man's man. Now, a lot of people can have different variations when it comes to if you are a man or not. A lot of times, some people have this example of a man's man, that he got a lot of women, he got a lot of clothes, he got a lot of jewelry, he's very popular, he's out there, he just do what he wants to do. He's a man's man. He controls his wife, and this is another example, I should say, that people have. But my definition of a man's man is loving his wife or his girlfriend, loving his children, loving himself, appreciating who he is, knowing what crown that he wears, that he can't do everything, but what he does is magnificent. And I want to tell every man that is watching this or will watch this on the replay, you are incredible. I'm talking to my brothers. You are incredible. If you have not been told that, I'm telling you now, at the tender age of 20 and 19 and 25 and 29 and 32 and 34 and 40 and 50, some of you have never been told by your father, I love you. Some of you have never been able to express your emotion, and it's always been downtrodden. It's always been pushed under the rug. You wanted to have conversations about certain things, about school, life, how to be a man, how to do bills, or you had a certain emotion. You didn't believe in yourself enough, and it's some of you had that. I was fortunate to be able to talk to my father, even though he was older. He might not understood everything I was dealing with. I still could go to him, and then I had other people, other men in my life, but everybody doesn't have that. And I want to break that. Why do you think the suicide rate amongst Black young men is so high? Why is it so high? They can't express themselves. When they had the opportunity to express themselves, they were shunned. They were mocked. They were embarrassed. You know what it does when a young man wants to express himself and he can't? So he'll start expressing himself in a negative way, or he'll express himself to somebody that's already feeling like he feeling. And that's why we have a lot, not only the only reason, one of the biggest reasons why we have a lot of young men on the streets with these guns, selling drugs, the weed, all that, marijuana, all that stuff. And I'm not saying every person, I'm just saying some. But there's a big majority of that some, SUM. And they can't express themselves because they're always looked at as less than. My brothers, you are not less than. You're more than conquerors. Let me say that again. You are more than conquerors. It's not about you just conquering on one thing. You can do so many things. So I'm speaking to that little boy that didn't get an opportunity to grow, even though you might be my age, late 30s or coming up to your late 20s. I'm talking to that little boy that didn't get the answer that they were looking for, that didn't get the love that they were looking for. And they grew up and they had their own family, but they don't even know how to be fathers because they weren't fathered. They weren't loved. They weren't appreciated, right? They were put to the side. Maybe somebody didn't, maybe mom or dad couldn't come to your game. They loved you, but they couldn't do it because they were working or they didn't make time. I'm sorry, my brother. But those are things that you gotta go to the right person and work on. It has damaged when brothers can't talk, when men can't talk, it can damage Black men for being misunderstood, underappreciated, not respected. It's one thing to not hear a man talk, but when he feels disrespected, that's a whole nother issue. When you disrespect a man, when he feels that he is undermined and he's not respected by his family, by his wife, by society, that's a harboring thing. It's hard to get out. It's hard to get out. Again, suicide rates are so high. The dropout rate for high schoolers, for young men, is so high. It's sad, everybody. I'm almost done. Society has shut down that man. Sometimes unintentionally, some fathers, some uncles, some big brothers have shut down some of their children or nephew or brother, younger brother, because they couldn't express themselves. But we got to be able to allow people to have a safety place. And I want to give you this really quick, and then I'm done. 4 reasons why it's good to talk, men. Why it's so powerful for you to open up your mouth. And if I go over a little bit, please forgive me. I always try to make sure that I stay in my time. But I believe this is important. I believe this is needed because we're already living in a crazy world already. But this section of men not being able to express themselves openly without being looked in a certain way or looked at a certain way. We gotta fight that. And we gotta end the stigma. One of the reasons why it's so important for men to express themselves mentally, it helps remove past disappointments and trauma. We've already talked about a little bit, but if you think about it, that man, that young king, if you want to say, if he's able to talk to the right person, if he's able to get that stuff off his chest. I was talking to a young man today, one of these young men I work on with probation, and he told me, he said, Mr. D, he said, I appreciate you and other ones that support me because I'm tired of living the life that I'm living. I want to change. I'm tired of going out and having to look around and watch my own back while I walk because I made some mistakes in my life. And I'm tired of living that way. He said, I want to change my life around. And I thank you for that. And I told him, thank you, but not thank you. Don't thank me. Thank yourself, because you are making changes. You have opened yourself up. And I said, it's not easy. He says, no, but you make it so comfortable for me to talk and you don't judge me. That's the biggest thing, everybody. Hear what I'm saying. Stop judging these young men and let them talk. Let them cry. Let them show some kind of emotion. Everybody didn't have a father like me. Everybody didn't have a mother like me in the home. Some people just weren't fortunate. So you got to let them talk. You got to let them express themselves in a healthy way. Because if you don't allow them to express themselves, that past trauma that they're dealing with, staying up at night trying to figure out who they are, you got to let them speak. You got to let them cry and not think if they cry that they're weak. They're actually strong. Because again, it takes a lot. Yeah, I hear what I'm saying. It takes a lot for a man to express himself. That's why people have laughed at Kanye West. That's why people have laughed at Will Smith. That's why people have laughed at LeBron James. All this emotion that in time and effort that people have come and put in their athleticism or their education or their entrepreneurship or their solopreneurship to be successful. But along the way, they got some disappointments. They had some disappointments. They had some trauma. And you expect us to go forth, to keep walking, when we can't even release that? And I'm not talking about releasing and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna get in trouble and I don't care. But just having sex and ejaculating, that's a one way to do it, or to drink or to smoke. I'm talking about releasing those heavy burdens by just screaming, yelling. When's the last time you yelled? When's the last time you were able to get some emotion off of you? When's the last time you got somewhere and you know you weren't going to be judged, or you went with your friend and you just let it out so that you can reset yourself? Let me go a little bit further because y'all not feeling me tonight. It's too heavy. This is too heavy for y'all. I hope it's not, because I'm hoping that we're breaking some chains off, men. Number 2, you become the man you were purposed to be. This is number 2. 4 reasons why it's good to talk about your mental health or your problems. You become the man that you were purposed to be. I'll say it again. You become the man that you were purposed to be. Your purpose, every man, every young man, every boy has a purpose. But we have to find out what that purpose is. But if we have so much weight on us, we have so much disappointments and have so much trauma, you got emotional damage from years past, and we haven't been able to safely find somewhere to land so that we can express ourselves freely. Because once you do that, once you release that thing, you become the man that you were destined to be. And then you become, where it don't even matter what age, because it's never too late, but you become that person that you were purposed to be in this world. You were put in this world not just because your mother conceived you. Your mother and father got together and you became a living, breathing organism. You came to this earth for a purpose, and you have to be able to fulfill that purpose. Because if you don't fulfill that purpose, why? Sometimes you might even feel this way now. Why am I here? Well, you got to find out, man, young man. You got to find why your purpose is here for. You have to go and find it and seek it, because it's for you. And you got to find that whatever that thing is, Whatever is working and waiting for you, you have to be able to go and grab it and be that and become that. Number 3, you will finally be able to grow and be nurtured by the right people. You got to get around the right men. You got to get around the right man or men. I'm around right men. I'm also around the right men to help me be better. Now, my father is up in heaven chilling with his big old brim hat and his suspenders. He's given me all that he has given me. But thank God that I have somebody and people, other men. But if you don't have that right now, I want to be able to be that for you. You might say, how? I want you, and I usually don't do this, I want you to DM me now. Maybe you're having some issues being able to express yourself. And you can't go to your girlfriend or your wife. You can't go to even to your best friend. You can't talk to somebody at church, or you can't talk to somebody on your job, and you just feel like you got the weight of the world on you. I want you to DM me and let's just have a conversation, brother. I mean, really, let's connect. Let's have a talk on a deeper level. Let me help you. Let me just be your brother. Even though I'm saying your brother, let me really connect to you and help you be the best version that you can be. And lastly, and not, I'm going to say this and I'm done. Again, we talk about being a king, but when you start releasing these things, you really become the king of your own castle because you believe it, because you're taking off everything that's trying to beset you, that's trying to take you down, that's trying to kill you. Mental health is real, especially in our community. It's real, y'all. It's nothing to be played with. We have to do our best to work on our mental health. Depression, anxiety, suicidal, it will not take us out, man. We have too many things to accomplish. We have goals to make. We have businesses to run, right? We have success to have. We have to love on our wives. We have to love on our children. We have people to pray for. We have prophetic words to put out to the people, to the nations. We have buildings to build. We have skyscrapers to make. We got so many things to do, but we can't do those wonderful things if we don't find a safe place to land. So as I close this episode 2 of Better with DMP Speaks, there's too much that I couldn't even get to. So I decided I'm going to do a part 2, and I'm going to have a guest on. I ain't going to tell you who it is, but it's going to be somebody local, but somebody powerful. Listen, everybody, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, please, please, please do me a favor, y'all. Do your brother a favor. Share this with every man that you know, your uncle, your great uncle, your cousins, your son, your significant other, your best friend. I want you to share this with every man and let them know you are a king. Now it's time to walk in it, because I want you, man, to be the best version that you can be. Listen, next week, new topic. Listen, you don't want to miss this. This is DMP Speaks. This is your motivation. This is your inspiration. This is your empowerment. I want you to become better, because I know that you can do it. And with that, as I always say, and I always believe this, I want you to have